my friends, is good baseball. No asterisk, no apology. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins. Same place you found this. Pirates 5, Dodgers 3. Pirates with a 3-game sweep of Major League Baseball's billion-dollar payroll. Paul Skeens with 6 scoreless innings, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 hits. Like he's just facing anybody, not the LA lineup. His ERA's now at 1.98. We're so far past the stage of debating whether or not he'll be the National League Cy Young winner. Yohan Ramirez with an inning and 2/3 of both scoreless and dynamic relief. Stuff's been electric. Dowry Moretta struggled in the 9th. Colin Holderman came on in a legit save situation with the tying runs aboard and struck out Ben Rortvedt to end it. Offensively, a resurgent Brian Reynolds again reached base 3 times, going 2 for 3 with a walk and an RBI. Jared Triolo with another couple of hits. And there were some plays made in the play, and there were some good decisions made on the base paths, and they're playing good baseball. It's not about the Dodgers. It's not about the opponent. It's not about the home or road, believe it or not. It's about winning 12 out of 16, and it's about doing so with almost casual balance. And what I mean by that is early on in the year, even when the Pirates were just losing nonstop, when they would win, it would be some freakish occasion, meaning you'd have some superstar level performance on the mound. And actually, that was the case probably 9 times out of 10. Or you'd have the opponent starting some pitcher who they just called up from the minors, and there'd be a bunch of runs early, and then you just kind of hang on. You know what I'm talking about. That's not this. We seem to have finally reached a stretch of this otherwise woe-begone summer where things are pretty much pattern-free. Look at the 3 scores of these 3 games with the Dodgers. 9-7, 3-0, and then 5-3, although it really felt more like it was 5-0. Don Kelly was trying to get Moretta some work, some confidence. It didn't click. The same thing applied to the previous series in Boston, where the scores were 4-2 and 10-3 in favor of the Pirates, and then they lost the finale 5-2. St. Louis just before that lost 7-6, won 8-3, won 2-1, lost 4-1. There have been some runs in there. There have been some runs allowed in there. But there's also been, far more often than not, over these past 16 games now, some hands being shaken afterward, which, at least to my mind, raises 2 significant questions. Number 1, what's this worth? What's the meaning? Is it the start of something as opposed to the end of something? This was Skeens on the subject of how the Pirates have played of late after the game last night.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing good baseball. I don't know what confidence comes from individually or team-wise. I think to an extent it comes from success. So I think we've showed ourselves that we can do it, and that gives us confidence. And but man, we got nothing to lose. It's time to go. Like I said, for my goals individually, but I think that's where we're at as a team. We don't want to leave anything out there on the field going into the off season, and wherever we end up. But just got to keep going.
That's a fair sentiment, and it's a common sentiment in that clubhouse. Anytime a team has a good run, that's not them being stuck in their own world or not understanding where they are overall or anything like that. This is baseball. In baseball, all of these people, and by that I mean the players, the coaches, the athletic trainers, the entire traveling contingent, live in that world. It's day by day by day. Those of you who used to laugh at Clint Hurdle when he would say the Pirates would have a tough loss, that we need to shower well. He actually meant it because he understands baseball. I've even lived this to a small extent myself in being an everyday baseball beat writer. Because if I had a bad day in the reporting sense, and that of course would have had nothing to do with whether or not the team won or lost, I needed to show up the next day at 3:00 for the open clubhouse and the media and just start fresh, just start over again. So this is the moment that these players are in, and that's okay. That's okay. Let them feel good about themselves. Let them feel good about each other. There can be all kinds of continuing doubts and worries and very real shortcomings, but it's okay for them to experience that, doubly so for the younger guys, because a good many of them have been in Pittsburgh for a while and not experienced anything like it. The second question that this nice little run brings up for me is, geez, do I have to again? Now? Okay, cool. When we come back, J1Q. If you're looking for a great dining experience, look no further than North Shore Tavern. Located directly across Federal Street from PNC Park, next door to Mike's Beer Bar, North Shore Tavern is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. Enjoy your steak finished on a hot lava stone in front of you, where you ensure each piece is cooked to exactly your liking. Or try their rotating selection of entrees, hot sandwiches, salads, and burgers, all while enjoying the ambiance dedicated to the great players and history of the Pittsburgh Pirates all around you. Come see why everyone's talking about North Shore Tavern and steak on a stone.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. Data brokers can compile your name, contact info, social security number, home address, even information about your family members, and they can sell it online. Have you ever been a victim of identity theft or harassment or doxing? If you haven't, you probably know someone who has. Delete Me can help. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Our listeners get a special discount today. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan by texting HIT to 64000. The only way to get 20% off is to text HIT to 64,000. That's HIT to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. Hey guys, if you're planning to see a Pirates game, use the Game Time app to get your tickets. You can snag new ticket deals before anyone if you set it into app alerts. The app is easy to use, no surprise fees at checkout. You can see your seat view before buying, and you're getting legit tickets delivered on time. Now, if you're not much of a planner, you can get last-minute deals on tickets right up to the start of the event. Lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app and enter the code DK Pirates in your app profile for $20 off your first purchase. Today's J1Q comes from Jim Hogg, my friend in Vermont, who writes and puts this on our DK Pittsburgh Sports app within seconds of Colin Holderman recording the final out last night. All right, DK. They're playing well, which makes me angry. This was there in the larger group in March. It could have been brought out in April. All of the personnel was in place and ready to be deployed. It didn't happen. How much of an indictment of Derek Shelton is this? To me, it's damning. Jim, I swear you had this typed up and ready to fire off. Under the circumstance only that they'd hold on and win that game last night. The indictment of Shelton has already occurred. It's over. The W last night put Don Kelly at 51-50 for the season. Shelton was fired on the 9th of May. Kelly took over. The team since then is a game over 500. I already invested an entire episode earlier this week praising Kelly for this, in particular because of the many challenges that he'd face along the way. And really, atop that list, inheriting a team that was toast about a week or two before Shelton was fired and he was promoted. They were D-E-A-double-D dead. And in the baseball world, when someone can keep your attention through 4.5 months of spectacularly meaningless baseball from the standpoint of the standings, that person isn't in the clubhouse. That person isn't a coach. That person is your manager 100 times out of 100. But the subject that you're broaching here, Jim, is different. Because what you're doing is implying that you could take this same roster, and you know where I'm going to go with this, back to late March. Heck, no. Let's go the whole way. Let's give Kelly an entire spring training in Bradenton to put in everything that he wants to instill the characteristics, the culture, and yeah, all the schematics and the real stuff as well. Give him all of that with this roster. Do you know what you'd have right about now? That's right, pal. You'd have a last place team. I say that with respect to Kelly, but also with a realistic recognition that this remains the worst offense in all of Major League Baseball. That hasn't changed. As I mentioned on yesterday's show, the pieces, the players haven't really changed since Shelton's firing, since the trade deadline, other than to cut David Bednar and to cut Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who'd had one of the higher batting averages on the team all year, but wasn't a power guy. My point isn't to make it sound like those were some epic losses, although Bednar kind of is. My point was, what you're seeing right now isn't the result of anything that the GM did, and that's not me taking my usual shots. That's an actual fact. Some younger pitching has come up and made a difference. If you want to credit the GM for that, go right ahead. Me, I would prefer to keep the focus where it very much deserves to be after 6, count them 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spectacularly failed seasons. You don't get to restart once you've already fallen on your face, figuratively speaking, 6 times. So no, Jim, this team would not hit. It could pitch like this, certainly among the starters, but your lineup, Jim, for this game last night was Jared Triolo at leadoff, batting .226, Nick Gonzalez, who's having a nice season, .279, Brian Reynolds, who took way too long to come around, but he's now at .246, Tommy Pham, who needed 2 full months, he's at .264. Then there's Kutch, stands in a category by himself. Nick York came up from the minors, had himself a big 2-run hit. Usually first base would be manned by Spencer Horwitz. We know what he's been. Alexander Canario had an RBI single, but he's at .212. Then Henry Davis at .168. Cam Devaney just got here. This isn't a plus 500 team offensively, and I'm trying to be nice in the way that I word that because they're playing really well lately. It just isn't. So blame Shelton when you blamed him and for the reasons that you blamed him. But retroactively presuming that Kelly could have managed these guys to glory. Wow, no. I appreciate hearing from you, Jim. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We're going to be back with another one of these on Monday.